Good morning, Brenda. Good morning, everybody. Giggles. So, what's new with everybody? Brenda, you behaving yourself? Everything good down there in Florida? Oh, man. Excuse me. Mia says hello to everybody. Right, me? He says, Good morning. It's Sunday morning and it's a football day today." Yes, it is, Mia. We'll get to that later. They don't play till this afternoon. Yep, that's Mia. That's my little Mia. That's my little Mia girl. Yes, you are. We'll see if Captain Joe shows up or if who comes up or Dominic or somebody. What? Say what? The um the weather's cold. It's 27 degrees, but it is sunny. Well, it's partly sunny. I know. I know. You do not want to go outside. It's cold out there. What you want? Right back. I see what she wants. She is so headstrong. She stands there on the top steps of the porch going down to the backyard, and she turns around, stands, and looks at me like, "Are we going anywhere?" "No, we're not going anywhere." So then I try to coax her back. "You want to come in or you want to go out? You want to come in, go out." And then she looks at me, and then eventually she goes down the stairs. Tell you what, she makes life interesting for sure. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I do have to get some more medication for gabapentin. She's got some of that, but what she's out of is the Apoquel. I've got to get her some more refill on her Apoquel by the end of the week. I'm just setting up my camera over here so I can watch the backyard. So, what's everybody up to? Little Llama Laura, stubborn like her owner. No, no, I'm calm and smooth, and everything's just wonderful. I'm not stubborn. TJ is here. I don't know if he's working this morning or not. Um, what he's up to, but I'm sure he'll let us know if he's available to come over or not. I don't see me in the backyard, so she could be off around. What I've also found interesting is she goes over and lays down in the corner of the house in the snow. And I don't know what that's all about, but TJ is sitting there sipping on his coffee. Okay, TJ. Shut up, Laura. And Joe says, "Oh, that's funny." And today is David's birthday today. So Laura must be cooking and getting ready for the big event of the day and wrapping presents and all kinds of things. That's good. I, Mia just popped into the camera. Got me playing in and out tag. I had to chase her around the steps and swing her leash around like that, and then she finally came in. Go lay down. Go park it. Lay down. Yeah, Laura's planning a big to-do today for David on his birthday. Right, Laura? Laura's gonna cook him whatever he wants to eat. Yeah. Yep, that's right, Laura. We'll plan on doing that. What time Eastern time is that? Good morning, Lance. So Laura's going live at noon Eastern time. Lance, you can tell who Lance is supporting in the NFL playoff games. So TJ, what are you up to today? Are you flying or are you coming in and join the panel? Yeah, I don't know where he was, but he popped in yesterday for a little while, but then the dog started barking and carrying on. Um, so who knows? A tanker boat just left South Sarnia, where all the petroleum tankers load up, where all the petroleum is stored, petroleum and chemical products or whatever. And he said it's southbound. The only other ship that's out in the lake is the Algoma Intrepid, and he's been sitting in the uh, Sarnia port here in Anchorage, just north of 11 and 12, for several days now. So I don't know what that's all about. It's up to you, TJ. You don't have to. I don't require anybody to be here, unless they have the time and or desire. If you don't want to be, don't be. Not going to hold that against you. I know Johnny is on with drones and coffee. Okay, Laura, you go get your shopping done. That's important, especially on his birthday. You gotta get all the goodies ready. Yeah, football's on later today. Let me see. Let me go here and put in. Okay, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, you got the Commanders, Washington Commanders against the Eagles. Then at 6:30 or so, you got the Bills against Kansas City. The NFC Championship is the Commanders and Eagles, and the AFC is the Bills and Chiefs, Kansas City. So 3 o'clock Eastern time, right in the middle of the afternoon or just late afternoon, will be the first game. Then 6:30 after that'll be after dark here. Will be the second game, and they must be playing out west somewhere. I think I don't know where they're playing. So Laura's already given David his birthday presents. So Kansas City is going to be hosting the Buffalo Bills in their game. That'll be start time 6:30. Then there's a week break between today's two football games because the winners will play each other in the Super Bowl, which is scheduled for a week after. So the Super Bowl should be like the February the 2nd, or just a minute, I can tell you. Yeah, February the 2nd, I believe it is. So that's the news from here. No, the Manitoulin, I think, is rolling, headed for port. They said it was headed for Detroit, but I'm looking at, I don't see it put in at the port, unless it went on down to Cleveland. Yeah, I was trapped in Lake Erie for 3 days, Brenda, and it's 16 hours ago. It's underway. It doesn't say when I look it up, it doesn't say where it is right now. Present location. You go to ship tracking, it shows it's still down in Lake Erie, but I'm sure that it's underway, Brenda. I could be wrong. Yeah, it shows on that it's right out in the middle of Lake Ontario, about 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles north northwest of North Kingville or Ashtabula. Says it's doing 5 knots. No, anyway, that's the latest. Hey, Trevor, hello, hello. I'll be right back, gang. I had to go out and re-aim my cameras. The wind blows them around, and otherwise I'm looking at it and it's like tilted, and I guess maybe I'm a perfectionist. I don't know. No, I'm not going for a swim. There is nobody near that water. In fact, this is the time of year when even the ducks um, aren't in there like they used to be. You'll see a few of them here and there, but what happens to them sometimes, sadly, if they stay in the water too long, the ice will form around their feet and they'll be stuck there or drowned or whatever. So, not a good situation for anybody, for beast or for man or beast. East Coast says the ducks are by his house. All right. So, there isn't a lot of ships going on, and I don't, maybe I should fly more other places, but I don't. Simply because it's so convenient for me to go down and pull up next to the river, get out of my car and waddle up the side of the car, put my stool down and fly the ships up, go up and catch them coming downbound or go down and catch them upbound. Where if you fly anywhere else, you gotta be real careful of your environment because of low hanging wires or trees or tree limbs or whatever. Giggles is toasting his bagels. I hope he literally is toasting his bagels. He's not referring to anything else. Trevor says, are the ducks driving you quackers? Yeah, we got a lot of Canadian geese and a lot of North American ducks here. They I used to think they used to go south for the winter, but not so much anymore as much as what I remember as a kid. It'd be just flocks and flocks and flocks of them heading south. But because our fall and our springs are a little warmer, they're not going all the way down south anymore. Well, this is gonna pan, this is gonna pan right now. The flags are over here. Gonna pan that way slow. And then you'll be able to see the flags. Because I think it gets about here. Once that's centered, it'll zoom in there and then pan again to the right. To the left, actually. I see that the news is showing rain and snow possible for the southwest. like Dallas, New Orleans, all the way across, and it's supposed to last for a week. Snow, rain. Hey, Johnny just ended his show over there on the other channel, Drones and Coffee.
I can't believe nobody showed up here.
Everybody's doing something. Not much going on here. Giggles is toasting his bagels, and
You could have got on. You could do two things at once.
I don't know. Maybe he's overthinking it, but
Yeah, we just shut down Johnny.
yeah, I saw that. That's all right. Everybody's got to do their own thing, Joe. I don't, if they want to come on here, come on here. If they don't want to come on here, don't come on here. Even though a lot of people look forward to seeing each other.
Hey, everybody.
So how you doing, Joe?
Well, I'm doing all right.
I see they're all over on Johnny's channel. We're rooting on the Kansas City Chiefs for today.
No, that's just Joe Vodaleo.
Oh, okay.
He's a Kansas City fan. His wife is a Buffalo fan,
Okay.
and they're celebrating their anniversary today, I think. And they asked him, I said, "You think you're going to have another anniversary?"
Laura was on a little earlier.
Yeah, she told me shut up on Johnny's show too.
Yep.
It's David's birthday today.
Yep. She said that she bought him a whole bunch of things like an Xbox controller and different things and for his birthday. She was out shopping when she came on here and talked to us.
He got him an Xbox controller, so
Yep,
he'd be on Xbox playing Fortnite and won't be on everybody else's channel.
that's right. They slowly are converting everybody.
And this guy, I played Fortnite and won a championship one time with my sons. I never have to play again. I dropped the controller.
Hey, Frank is here, Joe.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if Jody's still sick because they keep hanging together.
Yeah, I don't know. They must pass it back and forth.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have a terrible day here. I got to check on it again because I got to
Well,
see how this weather's gonna.
they just did the weather on TV for your
Yeah.
area, and every place down south is like for the next 7 to 10 days, it's going to be rain and snow and rain and snow and
Well, not us. We're just gonna have rain today, and then we're gonna have clear for about a week.
not according to them because they showed the map, showed it big down where you are.
Well, that's what our people said. We're gonna have our rain go to about midnight tonight. And it's gonna clear up for about 3 days, and then we're gonna get a little bit more rain. This is a week from hell for me. I'm. This is really a week from hell because I got nothing Monday night, but I got the drone nation Monday night. That I'm gonna be on at 8 o'clock my time, and then Tuesday I got a game. Yeah, Tuesday I've got a game at Mandeville. Wednesday is a game at Ponchatoula I don't have to go to. Thursday night there's the biggest game of the year at St. Paul with Mandeville,
Yeah.
and we get a notice yesterday that the football banquet is Thursday night. So I don't even have a movie put together for the season. So I went through last night and pulled about 150 pictures, and I would just put those 150 together. I'm gonna look at it again because I got the base of them done. I'll probably go through and do it again. Try to get it to about 200 pictures. And if that means Thursday night, I got to be at the banquet to shoot pictures. I won't be at the basketball games. Because these people got to look at the schedule. They can't keep stepping on each other.
Yeah. That's not
Because that's
good.
that's what they're mad about with soccer. Soccer doesn't get covered because they step on basketball. And why they got to be the same night? You know what I mean? If basketball's on Tuesday, have your game on Monday, or have your game on Wednesday. If they don't have a game on Wednesday, don't do them all on Tuesday. It's also an inconvenience if they're playing a big game because the basketball might be playing a big game and it's limited parking, and you got everybody from both schools trying to park in one spot. You got 3 different schools, 4 different schools trying to 3 different schools trying to park. You ought to see that. That's why I go so early to make sure I get that handicap spot right up front.
Yeah, that'd be a mess.
It is a mess. The other night when I was leaving, there must have been 40 cars leaving at the same time. But they started doing this 2 years ago. Everybody overlaps each other. And then the girls at soccer say, why don't you come out and shoot our games? Because I'm assigned to basketball. I'm not telling the truth thing. I don't want to go out in the cold. You know? Oh, man. And then Friday night, I got a game. So it's like all week.
Hello, Jim. How you doing?
Yeah, what's up? And then we have TJ.
TJ. Here he is, TJ. Well, I didn't realize TJ that TJ considers you, Joe, a must be there, or he's not going to show up. You know,
You don't believe that.
it's like you're his hero. You know.
Hey, I'm here now. So, hey, I'm here in all my glory. So,
Oh Lord, you better have pants on.
He doesn't have TJ doesn't wear pants when he's grilling his bobbles or whatever.
Here you go.
my,
Hey
my,
TJ, I
my,
got a
my,
joke
ba-
for you.
my bagels, my
Yeah.
bagels.
I got a joke for you, TJ.
What's up?
Why did the elephant cross the road?
Because he wanted something about his trunk or his something about being gray or
Nah, to avoid the giraffe jam.
to avoid what?
The
The
giraffe
giraffe jam.
Oh, the Jurassic Jam. Oh.
Pretty good, huh?
That's a pretty
That's
good.
good. That's good.
That's pretty good.
That's
That's a
pretty
good
good.
one. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
I'll save that. I wrote that one down for you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Giraffe
Avoid
jam.
Jurassic Jam. That's funny.
They eat the Oscar Mayer wieners. On Fox, they got the Oscar Mayer mobile
Yep,
out
they
there,
got
and they're
the
all eating
wiener, the
Oscar
wiener
Mayer
car, and they're
wieners.
eating up Oscar Mayer wieners on like
Yeah, oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener.
I actually have I have a little ornament of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Well, they used to bring it down for Mardi Gras. They do it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but they bring them down with Mardi Gras and put them in the parades, and they throw out the little wiener whistles. I've got one in the back somewhere. I guarantee you.
Bagel. Bagel. Bagel.
Yeah, that's a Yankee food. Bang bagel.
TJ. You are a wackadoodle, TJ. Did anybody ever tell you that?
Oh, oh, I wish I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That's what I truly like to be.
That's funny. That's funny. That's pretty good. That's good. That's good. That's funny.
Are those bagels crunchy? I can hear them crunching, either that or it's your jawbone going.
No, it's actually the bagel.
Oh, the bagel. Joe, what are you cooking for special today? It's
Actually,
Sunday, and you always do a specialty on Sunday, cook
well, I'll have some pork chops in there to do.
pork chops.
Yeah, I'm gonna do those for later. Got some pork chops. I'm gonna do some. I've actually got. You ready for this? When I was running through the dollar store, I was just glancing around, and Cheetos. Okay, you know the puff little puff Cheetos.
The orange thing.
Yeah, the bright orange cheese puffs. You get
Yeah.
like chips, Cheetos macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
Oh,
that's not. I think I've seen that before, and it looks pretty good. I think we got some and tried it, and it was pretty good actually.
Well, it's like the Kraft macaroni and cheese. It's gonna be really fake, but I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I'm making macaroni and cheese for Donald today with the Cheetos macaroni and cheese. It says bold cheese taste. And then I got a can of baked beans to go with it. So I'm gonna have baked macaroni and cheese, baked macaroni and cheese, baked beans, and pork chops.
I might have to apply for that one, but I don't have a bachelor's degree though. So I don't know if I could apply.
You gotta
Trevor,
have a college degree in order to apply to drive a,
yeah, the peanut mobile.
yeah.
I think I don't know. It sounds like
You know, because then you know what, they only pay in peanuts too.
yeah, they only pay in peanuts.
You need that job, Paul. You wouldn't have to pay for those peanuts you throw out there. all
Oh
the time.
yeah, for all my little buddies.
Trevor says the day is coming when his invention is allowing him to grab me through the monitor.
Slap you through the monitor. See a hand reaching there, go.
You know, TJ, you ought to have a mechanical hand, and just off the side there, and it just swings around and boom.
Hey, I have a better idea.
I could just see that hand coming by and boom, like this. TJ, you know what? Boom.
That would be hilarious.
Go ahead.
I have a better idea, TJ.
What
What we're gonna do is we're gonna have you sit right there, and I'm gonna say lean forward. When you lean forward, I'm gonna come up there with my hand like that, like I'm doing it, and I have your wife on the other side reach over and hit you.
Oh yeah.
They'll come up from where the phone's at and slap you.
That's funny.
That would be cool looking.
Yeah. Well, that'd be pretty funny.
And I'm sure she'd do it.
Probably.
I said slap him, not punch him.
So do you miss not being on a cruise there, TJ?
A little bit. I wish I was still kind of cruising around, but that's not reality, I guess. So I have to suck it up, I guess.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Well,
I guess I don't have a bachelor's degree in sales. I got a PhD because of all of the experience of years I was in sales. I ought to have between being GMs and store managers. I guess I got a PhD, huh?
There you go.
But you want to hear the funny part? I never followed through with this, and I'm mad at myself. I was going to do this just to mess with my sister that has a PhD. Because I've got college credits. I never got a degree. I'm 3 credits away officially from an associate degree in sales and business management. And I never got it because I never really needed it. So I never finished. And this was when I was in the military. But all the experience I had when I went to Pizza Hut, you had to take all these courses and you got college credits for them. So all of the management training, the GM training, and everything you did, even with the serve safe, you got equivalent to college credits for.
Yeah.
So when it was all said and done, there was a college that came in and said they like University of Maryland or somebody like that, and they said if you put all your college credits together, previous college together, you know, and enroll with us, and you take a minimum of 6 credits, minimum of 6. They'll combine everything and give you whatever degree it is. And I was, according to where I was at, I was like 1 class away from master's. And I never followed through with it. I didn't have the
bet you could
time.
probably call them up and probably continue on.
I didn't have the time. That was the whole thing. You know, it's like they were doing that for all the GMs that working at Pizza Hut. And I was going to mess with my sister because my sister's so big about school. And I was going to just one day send it to her, you know? Because sometimes you don't need to go physically in a classroom because, you know, I may not have gone to school, like college school, but I sat in a lot of those classes for days. to become GMs at different places. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. And you know what I hate the most? I hate the most is when you go to a class and then you got to do role plays. I hate role plays.
Oh yeah, those are crazy.
I hate them. I don't need a role play. I read the book. I know what you want me to do. I'll do it.
Philip, DJ.
You know, Shaq.
That's pretty good.
How you doing, Philip?
Good. How you doing there, Paul?
Another day in paradise, because now we got Mr. Giggles with us.
Oh. Here comes Trevor.
There's
Trevor.
Trevor.
Good day.
Philip, did you capture that photo with the Statue of Liberty? Did you get that with a drone, or how? Like, or did you just find that somewhere and just decided to use it for a background, or?
No, that's the Statue of Liberty. Over in Liberty Park.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I flew my drone right by the Statue of Liberty. You know, you just basically, as Lon says, you just put it up in the air, get that shot, bring it back down, and go.
So nobody sees you.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I found this SD card on the ground. And
Yeah, you go.
Right.
He found it on the
You know,
ground.
you do know that each of the pictures does have embedded in it the camera that had the serial number for the camera that actually took the photo. Sorry to break the bad news to you, but so they can go ahead and look at that internal information in the image and tell exactly what camera took the picture. So they could soon work out that whether you did it or not.
All you got to do is put it in Photoshop and modify it. And then, you know, you change
No.
everything.
modify the metadata.
Yeah, well, the metadata is one of them, but there's also another one that's actually hidden in the JPEG encoding, which can be recalled by law enforcement, but can't be pulled by the normal person and can't be played with. I didn't know this until a few months ago myself.
Well,
So
so-
Captain Joe, you're a has-been in sales. You can't get a degree post sales, so therefore you've got to have been a has-been in sales.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Still in sales.
Well, you got to remember the okay. You went and submitted all your stuff with all your years of experience for a degree now. They'd go and say, no, you don't know this new bit and this new bit and this new bit. The amount of times they actually change the goalposts for a degree is
Yeah.
ridiculous. They find something that they find some new piece of crap to actually have you to jump that hurdle and so you've just got to up everything you need, and there's another hurdle for you to jump, so you just don't get there. A lot of degrees that are like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And looks like Justin's on his way in.
What's up, Justin?
Hey,
That's
Joe.
why when I was at Pizza Hut, the school said we had to take a minimum of 2 classes, and it was certain classes we had to take. That I guess like refresher stuff.
Well, to give you some idea, about 3 years ago, I renewed my what's known as a certificate in training and assessment, so that I can actually teach my work colleagues how to do their job. and give them an accreditation. I got notified a couple of months ago. They've now added 2 more parts to that course, and to get my degree updated, I will need to go ahead and learn those sections and get accredited in those sections to get my degree back. It's just ridiculous. This is about the 4th time it's actually happened since I originally got the thing. So, and this one is how do you how to train a blind person? Well, number one, I wouldn't be training a blind person to do the work that I'm actually doing anyway. So,
Probably
TJ, I'm
somebody
working.
that comes in younger that says, "Hey, we got to do it this way. Let's teach them this way."
Yeah.
And then after about 2 or 3 weeks, they say, "No, let's go back to the old way."
Well, that's the interesting one. I see a lot. We get people that they straight out of college and etc. They know it all, and it's not until they actually come out into reality that about 3 months into the to the real world that they actually work out they don't know it all by a long shot. Anyway, TJ, I'm working on that new monitor invention where I can put my hand through and whack something out of your hand. You know, eating on camera is disallowed.
That'd be hilarious if I just saw like 2 hands coming out of my screen, but oh my god! Joe was talking about how like he wants to see like when he goes and like puts his hand up, and then my wife's hand just like comes and like smacks me on the side of my head. It's like
yeah, that would be a good idea. Joe, but you're gonna have to work on that one, Joe. Definitely.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Just make sure I tell her to slap him, don't punch him.
Yeah, slap. Yeah, like even though but punch may actually help, but yeah, slap will be fine.
Yeah, Trevor, when I was a GM at Pizza Hut, the hardest night is Friday night between about 4:30 and about 7 o'clock. And actually about 7:30, because that's when everybody wants pizza on Friday night. And that's when you got your biggest staff in there. And as the GM, I would stand right up in the front area, and I'd handle overflow on the registry if I needed to. But my thing was I'd grab the phones and answer the phones. But my biggest thing was watching the deliveries and what had to go and organizing that. And it was one night I'm standing in there, and one of my young assistant managers, she says, "Joe, why don't you work the back tonight and let me come up front and do nothing like you do?"
Do nothing.
Like that. That's it.
Yeah,
Do nothing like you do up here, and I could just stand here all night while we work our butts off. And I looked at her and said, "Sure." I said, "You got it." And I walked to the back, and she looked at me, said, "It's yours." Like that. And this was about 5:45. I said, "It's yours. You got it." Everybody turned around and looked at me like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Kayla, you got it. Go." I walked to the back and said, "Anybody needs me? I'm washing dishes." So I started washing all the dishes. I looked up, and I seen him starting to kind of get a little crazy up front. I looked up at the board, and I saw what was going on. And about 20 minutes, she came. She goes, "Can you come help me with this?" Like this. I said, "What's the matter?" She goes, "I got all these deliveries, and I'm having problems assigning them and doing all of this." I took a piece of paper, and this is what I used to do. I took a piece of register tape, and I just went, looked up there, and I put the last 2 digits, and I went, "Send those together, send these together, send these together." I said, "Do this, do this." I said, "That's what you do." And I walked back to the back, and she goes, "No, I'll go wash dishes. You come do this." I said, okay, thanks. And
She
And
wanted to do
my,
the she wanted to do the
and
easy
she-
job.
well, that's what she thought, you know? And then
Yeah.
my assistant general manager was in there one night, and she used to leave. She used to leave right about the end of that. I had about another hour that day, and end of the rush. And she said, "Start cutting, Joe. Start cutting people. We're not getting as many orders." I said, "Not yet." She goes, "You're going over labor." I said, "No, I'm not. Don't worry about it right now. We're about to get an influx." "You can't guarantee an influx." I said, "We're going to get an influx." And she looked at me like, "How do you know that?" I said, "Because there's 2 customers that haven't ordered yet." And she started laughing. She goes, "Yeah, 2 customers." I gave her the 2 names. I said, "When these 2 customers order, it's at the end of our rush." I said, "Because they know what time to order." And I said, I'm telling you, because I had been there for almost 2 years by the time. So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden we get an influx again, and she just looks at me, and she goes, "Well, did they order?" I said, "Not yet. We got this one more rush, right?" About 15 minutes into that rush, the 2 names popped up. I said, "Okay, cut 3 people." She just looked at me. We cut 3 people, and we were slow for another hour. She goes, "I don't understand that." I said, "That's right." I said, "Every Friday night, I'm watching these boards." And I said, "Just look for these names. I'm telling you." And they came in, and I asked them, I said, why do y'all order at this time?" They said, "Because we sit outside in the automobile and watch what's going on." So they knew they both worked for Pizza Hut before. So they knew the right time to call in. So I had somebody that gave me a warning. I've even had an incident where Friday night we had a big order on during football season. Friday nights, the assistant took over, and I went to the football game to shoot the pictures. That was my big night. I had to be off during football season, so I would leave at right at 4 o'clock. I mean, at 5 o'clock to go to the 7 o'clock game. And I was out there one night, and we had a playoff team coming in, and I think we had extra 30 pizzas I had made during the day for the playoff team. And there was big sales for us. I'm gonna take the sales because I'm gonna make money off of it. So I had all these things. I told them, I said, "Okay, the game's gonna end about this time. Start putting them through at this time. Put them in the hot boxes in the back. Leave them sitting there." I said, "Then bring them out. They'll still be hot." And so they started doing everything. I was out there for about an hour, and I got a call. "We need you." I said, "What do you need me for?" And they told me the problem they were having. I said, "Okay, I'll be right there." I went in, walked in. I mean, it was a mess. I took my little piece of paper, wrote down everything, did all of this. I said, "Y'all understand this?" "Yeah, okay, see you." Like,
What's up, Joel?
they did it. It worked, you know.
You had a system is what you had.
No, I had a lot of experience.
Oh, yeah, that
A lot of
too.
experience, and I didn't panic. When you panic, you forget it.
Yeah.
And it was part of it was a system. You knew because you couldn't send more than three at a time on deliveries.
What's up,
And if
pal?
the deliveries were more than 3 or 4 blocks apart, I wouldn't send 3 in a car because it messes up your drivers.
What's up, Brenda?
It's
What's up, Justin?
it does make you wonder. We actually had a Pizza Hut, Pizza Hut stores all the way through our state, and the last of those closed about 7 years ago. They just seem to disappear overnight for some unknown reason.
That and Wendy's hamburgers. What's the other ones? God, there was a few of them. I mean, you turn around and they're gone.
Yeah. Now the demand for pizzas was still there, because after they left, a number of other pizza stores actually opened up in town, so the demand's there. They just disappeared.
My biggest issue was with Pizza Hut is it wasn't the quality of the pizza or anything like that, because that kind of went downhill a little bit too. But it was the cleanliness of the store and the carpet. It was the same carpet from like 25 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
like it's like not matted, but it's kind of like if you threw glue all over the carpet, and it was just it's horrible. And that was my biggest complaint of the store was just like, geez, it still looks the same Pizza Hut as 25 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
we had,
It's not real. I mean, they're still around, but now it's not more. It's not a like. I don't think you could. Well, maybe one or two you can go in and sit down, but
there's only, I
like,
think, 3 left in the country that you can sit at.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
of them are walk-in like Domino's.
It's
Yeah,
all drive-through. It's all, I can't remember what they call
But
it.
see, that's one of the reasons why Domino's took the top spot in the pizza industry because they didn't have a bunch of overhead of waitresses and everything. A lot of their stores all their stores were just walk-in and
Yeah.
order.
yeah,
it was
kind
kind of dark. It was kind of dark inside Pizza Hut too. It was like, why is it so dark in here?
yeah.
they haven't
Because of the
I-
carpet.
they haven't even updated their stores or anything. That was the biggest issue. Put money in that, you know. People like coming in and seeing a fresh new look, not a old dreary 25, 30-year-old look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it used to be a case that I went over to Adelaide, which is a distance away from here, and I get a meal allowance. So therefore, yeah, kind of go and have a pizza at Pizza Hut. Used to be because you could sit down and eat it. I didn't have to take the damn thing back to the hotel room. But yeah, they just literally disappeared overnight. And really, well, Domino's has just got himself stuck in the news over here for underpaying their staff. A really big case going before the courts at the moment. So, yeah, just shows you that they go ahead and have cheap pizza, but it comes at a price. And to be honest with you, I still don't think Domino's is up there pizza wise. They might come in on price, but their pizzas aren't
That's not
as nice.
that they're not the same anymore. And then, you know, also after COVID, your food industry service level has dropped tremendously. Now
Oh yeah,
with Trump coming across with this no tax on tips, this might also open up a door to get better service industry
Yeah.
forward.
I think they should have just took the whole thing away from restaurants anyway. Why the fuck can they underpay their employees, but everybody else isn't allowed to? There's
Yep.
no other industry that's allowed to pay their employees $3 an hour.
Absolutely.
yeah.
They should have just took that right away from the fucking restaurants. Say you got to pay full-time hour or hourly pay just like every other business does.
I agree.
I think it's bullshit.
I agree. I mean, look at Buc-ee's. They pay their employees, I mean, to a higher standard than most of your other type service industry. And you know, with them paying that, they're gaining a higher level of people that know how to treat customers. And you know, it goes hand in hand. You get shitty pay, you're going to get shitty service.
Look,
Yep.
my biggest thing was the overtime, no taxes on overtime, because when the government sets a standard work week at 40 hours and your job asks you to stay for 10 extra hours a week, you should be able to keep that, because a lot of times you'll get 10 hours overtime and you're lucky if you see 2 of it on your paycheck because they take it all in taxes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They take
That's
even
bullshit.
more.
But the other point there, that's designed to make it that the business hires more people rather than constantly working people overtime.
Yeah.
But the problem is, though, too, is it puts you in some people, it can actually put them in a higher tax bracket temporarily. And then they end up paying a lot more in taxes and they don't really see a big jump on their paycheck,
Yeah.
which
And
I think that should be
sometimes they
taken
don't
out,
go down.
period.
Sometimes that tax bracket don't go back down either.
Because there's some people out there that will work their living ass off and work 20 hours overtime a week. I've seen people that do 70-hour weeks.
I want to get out there one day. I'm not once been to a Buc-ee's. I'd like to try to get out there and just go walk around and just kind of see what it's like.
Leave your money at home.
Yeah, leave your money at home. Now, if you like beef jerky, it's your emporium of beef jerky.
Yeah.
That's that, and but then their brisket's okay. It's not. It's there's better brisket out there, but
yeah.
You see that when he visited California, oh my God, dude, he was ripping into those damn local officials.
Yeah.
Dude,
wildfires,
dude, I love Crystals, but there's not. I think there's one in Fort Lauderdale somewhere. I think.
Justin, just on that, he was going on about the water going off. Was it actually turned off by the officials, or was it more of a case that the power went out so that they didn't have the pumps to actually pump the water?
He said that particular pipeline had been dry for years. I don't know how true that is because I just don't know the history of that.
There was one reservoir.
But he
one
said
reservoir
that pipeline
was empty because they were repairing the valve.
Yeah, but apparently they had some freshwater pipeline that came from up north. They used to run tons of water down to California.
Right. They divert it now to go out into the ocean to protect the smelts.
Yeah.
Gotta
watch it. That was one thing. Being within the emergency services over here, and I have been through a really rip-roaring bushfire. We had one back a number of years ago. 82 homes actually got lost, and for my area with the density of population, that's a lot of homes to actually lose. And the fire went from one side of the Eyre Peninsula to the other side, some 90 odd kilometers in less than half an hour. So yeah, but I know once you actually get that, but once those fires go underneath power lines, then that cuts the power. That means that you don't have the pumps to actually pump the water to give to the hydrants, and that was one of the things that came out during our big one here. They ended up putting in standby diesel pumps, which can be remotely started, and if they actually have even an inkling of a bushfire, they actually start the diesel pumps and leave them idling because they'll automatically ramp up if they need to do their job. But it's an expensive process, very, very expensive to actually do, and it's counted on whether their state government actually owns their water resources, or if another company's actually supplying the service.
Well, you know what I found funny was when he was talking to that guy that was talking about rebuilding homes from the last fire. I can't remember the exact numbers, like either 40,000 or 80,000 homes burnt. The guy's like, well, we've already built 3,400 more homes since then. Yeah. Now, you're talking about less than what was it, 34 homes of 80,000 homes they've rebuilt in 6 years. And the dude was like proud of that number.
Yeah.
I was like, you fucking kidding me? I was like, that's all you've rebuilt in a 6-year period.
Crazy.
And you're proud of that.
But it's a lot of work when you look at it. like building a home, what they look at
Dude,
6
I've
months.
seen 10,000 homes go up here in Florida in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not to me. That's unacceptable to be proud of that number. It's the regulations in California is the problem.
Oh, they want the home to actually stand up more than a week.
No, they told the homeowners the other day when he went to California, they kept telling all the homeowners it's a minimum 18 months to get permits. And then when Trump questioned that mayor about it, she tried to say, "Oh no, nobody ever told them that." And then you had all these residents that were in the crowd that said, "No, that's what they told every one of us." And Trump said everybody he talked to, they all said the same exact thing, 18 months. Just to get a fucking permit. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to drop off, guys. I'm fixing to go get bit. So, y'all have a y'all have a
You're
great
gonna
day.
go. You're gonna go do what, Philip?
I'm busy. Busy.
Oh, busy.
TJ, look at the orange juice container and what is it? It's called.
All right, Philip. Have a great day, bud.
Hey, y'all come back to see us.
Wait, what's Al talking about? You have to save the smelt so the whales can eat. What's smelt? What is that?
Little bitty fishes.
Oh,
But they
gotcha.
eat plankton. Whales eat plankton.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, that's one thing we haven't got a shortage of down in our Great Southern Ocean. The whales are having a whale of a time down there at the moment.
Yeah.
A whale of a time.
Oh, yeah.
Say, yeah, and I don't know, Lisa, what permit for what. I have no fucking clue. Because this is the thing is like, if Florida and California say we went head to head building a 1,000,000 square foot, say, shipping facility, it'd probably take California 3 or 4 years just to get all the shit together to start building. We'd probably have it up within 6-8 months.
Yeah, they got so
Easy.
many environmental rules. Yeah, Johnny.
Over regulation costs will run prices, cost of living, everything up. There's a fine line with regulations that you have to ride.
Well, yeah.
There needs to be a little bit, but too much is not good.
Yeah, there's one of those things. There's a lot to take into account, especially with some of those
Hey,
suburbs
Lisa.
where you've only
Joel.
now you've only got the bare outline of streets, so therefore you've got none of the essential utilities or anything like that available on the street. You've got to start from scratch. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of work to do to get it restored. It's not a case of quick building some houses, unfortunately, and then of course the building approval process where they submit, where the plans get submitted and make sure that they meet the current code for that area. You've got to take that into account, and of course, if you've got if you suddenly have a week where you're flooded with plans, that's going to take some work or a fair bit of time to go through and actually review each of those, because it's not done by a person who's just good at putting an approved stamp on something. It's actually done by engineers. So count on how many the engineers they've got within the office that can actually sit down and go through building approvals. So yeah, because at the end of the day, when they build it, they've got to be sure that it will stay standing.
What's up, Lisa? Johnny, how's it going? Yeah, I honestly think though he needs to get rid of FEMA. I think they're useless, and I agreed with him. It's just a bunch of bureaucracy that holds up getting stuff done when there is a disaster. I think states should be allowed to do their own cleanups, and then the government just funds them as they need the money. They give it to them. If they go to the federal government and say, "Hey, we need $100 million to get these roads built back," then they just approve it, give it to the state, let them do it. The state doesn't
Yeah.
need federal people to come in and tell them what to do. That's just, to me, makes you look at the state and like, you guys are too much of idiots to do it yourself.
Well, there's a couple of
These
ways
states.
I look upon it is building a, let's say there was a incident in Florida and an incident in California, and in both cases, the road infrastructure got destroyed. California goes ahead and puts a price tag on it and says, "Yeah, yeah, it's going to be $10 billion just to replace the roads," and Florida goes ahead and says, "No, it's only costing us $3 billion to actually to redo ours, and we got the same amount of road." So at least it's giving them a guarantee that yes, you're getting the road infrastructure replaced, but it's being done at the cheapest of price for the federal government.
Well,
because
see,
of the
that's
federal
what
government funding.
that was one of the things they were talking about was if they set up a program where the states can just get the money directly, they have to be able to do things fast and efficiently. And they can't be, you know what I'm saying? It can't be, oh, we have all these regulations, so it's going to cost 10 times more for us to build a road than, you know, say Florida, when it really doesn't need to be like that. So that's one of the things they're saying. And that's the kind of rules they should set up for that. There should be some kind of basic rules set up that says, you know, there's no reason a road should cost twice as much here as here. And
this is something that came out Queensland a number of years ago. The best way I can explain it, they had so much rain that that we had a joke going that the Queensland state premier had actually tried to turn their state into Waterworld, a Waterworld theme park, because it was all theme parks at the time. That they had water everywhere and it literally destroyed everything. After that, the federal government came to the party and actually went ahead and came up with a hive of money, but they set the restriction that where possible, houses are to be relocated further up away from the riverbeds where they were before, so that it doesn't happen again. And a lot of mitigation work was done. That's fine. That all happened, and at 1 year later, the council went ahead and sold off the land that where the old houses used to be, and gave them building approval to build on it. So they didn't learn a single thing. So if we were to get exactly the same event to happen, it'll be a case that more houses are going to go down the river. That's the bad state for us, because they get all the cyclones that actually do housing damage and stuff like that. It's not uncommon to actually see the sailboat that's actually instead of being on the water, it's about 150 meters inland, because it's actually been blown out of the water. They have events like that. It's not uncommon up there, but they also are technically, if you were to look at which state is a money pit for in the way of disasters, they're it, because they just go through the money like there's no tomorrow. And kind of the same infrastructure goes every time. So they don't future-proof the place or disaster-proof the place. You'd think that if you go actually in a cyclone area, that you actually go ahead and have certain requirements for housing to be designed a particular way so that they're not going to disappear when you get a decent blow, or you design your railways so that it doesn't take a little bit of a small amount of rain to actually wash them away. But it's just me. I live down south. We get a few bushfires here and there and stuff like that. We get a little bit of flooding. We had one back about 4 years ago back in Adelaide where the whole area went under, and we didn't see that one coming. The heavens just opened up and dropped what would be equal to 2 meters of water in less than half an hour. But yeah, that one you just couldn't see coming. But everything that's been done since, when they allowed houses to be rebuilt and etc., after that and the cleanup, they actually put in some more stringent rules and regulations as to how high up off the ground you've got to have the house. So people had to bring in soil and stuff like that to actually build up the block so that they could actually put the house on top. So as to make sure that we don't have that happen again. And that's when you look at it, it's the best way to go. If you can actually build a house that's more fire resistant, build it. Kind of our Adelaide Hills that went up in '82 was the big one. They actually brought in the requirement for sprinkler systems on the roof. So you set the sprinkler system off and it pumps the water from your swimming pool or whatever, and actually runs sprinklers so that little embers that come off the fire don't catch your house. And because you've actually got water running over the structure, the radiant heat doesn't actually cause your house to self-combust. So and that's cut down the amount of homes that they've actually lost quite considerably. And they also do a big thing about clearing your property and bits like that before the fire season. But we've been lucky that the fires that we get are becoming less and less deadly, and at the same time we're losing less homes when we actually when we do get one of these big fires. So then that's something that these disaster agencies have well and truly got to look at, is how do you make the place a little bit more fireproof? Because you guarantee that suburb that, and I don't know where I was looking when we saw it on our news over here, the row after row after row of houses, and there's not a house there, they're burnt houses, and there's not a structure still standing. That would have been more of a case of radiant heat coming through, just literally causing everything to spontaneously combust. So if they'd actually had the sprinkler system, that probably would have saved 70 to 90% of those homes. But I'm sure it's something that the experts will look at, and it's something that's got to be addressed when you actually go and do your rebuilding, unfortunately. I can guarantee it's like Florida with their big storm surges and etc. I'm sure they don't go ahead and build houses back exactly the same way as they built them when they actually before they got the storm surge through this last time. They've probably changed the rules and regs. I don't know that. Have you seen any of that, Justin?
I don't know because I don't really live in those areas that have that problem. So I
Yeah.
know in our area they've done really good at rehardening the electric infrastructure because that tends to be what you end up losing.
Yeah.
And we didn't. A lot of places that lost power in the last hurricanes didn't lose power this time because they've replaced a lot of the old wooden poles. Now they're putting those big steel poles in.
Yeah.
Then those things don't budge, even with really, over 100-mile-an-hour winds. Those things don't even sway.
And
So
that's things that have been brought out because they've actually found that they had a problem. They've decided to spend the extra dollars and actually replace the poles so that you don't have that, because if the power goes out, obviously there goes your water pumps, there goes your telecommunications, and a few other things. I don't know if you guys have got natural gas to all your homes, but if it's electric only home, a lot of people can't cook without electricity.
no, we don't. Yeah, I mean there is quite a few homes that have natural gas, but not every neighborhood. But that the infrastructure tends to not even get affected by the storms because most of that's underground. So
Yeah. What I'm getting at is we've got one town that's where the gas pipeline went through, and we had a small earth tremor. That's the best way I could actually explain it. Up in the hills where the gas pipeline came through, and it actually ruptured it, and they shut the pipeline off for over a week and a half. And this particular town found it very, very hard because all their cooking appliances were gas, so they couldn't. So nobody could cook tea. Nobody could go ahead and have hot water for their showers. Yeah, it becomes a real big problem when that type of thing happens. So yeah, one, and it was only I think it was a 3 on the Richter scale, and lasted all of about 20 seconds. That's all it took to actually break the pipeline.
most of the newer neighborhoods, Brenda, they're putting all those underground. A lot of the older neighborhoods are still above ground. Almost all the new neighborhoods, all the electric's underground, but it still feeds out from a pole by the road somewhere. But like I said, they've been, and at least in my area, they've been replacing all the wooden poles now with those big steel ones.
Yeah.
And getting rid of them.
The only problem with underground electricity is when you get your storm surge and you've got water that may not be approaching the house, but kind of it's enough to take out. It's enough to seep into those electricity junction boxes. Yeah, they all shut off. Having wires that are up in the air, it's very hard to get for them to actually go out. So it's a bit of a muchness there.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
In Florida, you don't want them on the poles because the lightning will take them out in a heartbeat. And we have a crap ton of lightning here.
Hey, Bill, I take it you're on your way to see your dad?
Sure am.
All right.
Yep. That's where I'm going.
So now I get to say TJ and Justin are bums since they're both on here.
Yeah.
We got 2 bums on the panel today, Paul. Yeah. Guess what arms? This
Dude, that's
is
pretty awesome looking. That's pretty dope.
This is the second one. This is the same one that Maddie had. This is that second one that has fucking been my cursed drone that has burned more goddamn parts than I know of. I've probably built 4 drones trying to build this damn thing. It finally arms. So I'm charging batteries so I can take it out and try to do a hover test. And then the real test begins, which is trying to do throttle bumps and see whether it drops it out of the sky. I've dropped the motor power to 80, which matches the motors that I have on the third one that I built. And the third one flies fine. So the difference, the third one is using a different flight controller, and I did that kind of intentionally to see whether I had the same problem, and I did initially. With the new flight controller, it would drop one of the motors out of the sky too. After rebuilding that one and sort of using all of the anti-vibration stuff, including that grease that I got that I told everybody about, that one flies fine. That's the difference on the Curse drone now, because I went back and I was like, okay, I'm going to rebuild that thing from the ground up, completely take it apart, pull the frame apart, put all the grease crap in all the right places, all the right screws, all that kind of crap, and put it back together. So I've done that. The only thing I haven't done is put the grease under the motors yet. And that I know for a fact will cut the noise in half. So one of the problems that, and I found out later, is that the Speedy Bees uses the IM4 286 gyro, which apparently is a pretty good gyro, but it's also a bit sensitive to noise compared to the MPU 6000, which is an older one that's on a lot of the flight controllers as well. So if you're using that gyro when you build, you probably need to make sure that you're doing a little extra to keep vibrations and crap and
good
grounding.
vibrations.
Yeah, you go a little overkill. So if I have a problem, I've got one more trick sort of up my sleeve to potentially help that gyro that actually came from Bardwell. On one of Bardwell's videos, he actually talked about soldering a capacitor to the 5-volt, one of the 5-volt pads on the flight controller, which is also kind of where the gyro is getting its power from. So you solder a 5-volt to one of the solder a capacitor to one of the 5-volt, and you're essentially trying to straighten out the electric going to the gyro so that the gyro picks up less noise.
Yeah.
You're making me hungry. You keep talking about,
the gyro.
One of my favorite,
yeah, I know.
One of my
They're
favorite
yummy.
foods.
They're yummy. They're
That's
yummy.
funny.
I don't disagree.
Yep.
So, anyways,
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. I gotta get into gear. Gotta get ready for work. I don't want to go.
work. Isn't that a 4-letter word for you, TJ?
Yes, WORK.
But he loves 5-letter words. He loves 5-letter words tremendously. CRASH.
All right, y'all have a good day. We'll see y'all later on.
See you, TJ.
Bye, Uncle Bill. Say hi to your dad.
I will. I mean, I will anyway, whether you want me to or not. Okay.
Well, tell him I said hello.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
So this damn thing is finally together, and it will arm off the radio, and the goggles work. So I haven't pulled any fucking wires. It's just like, oh my God, finally. Built the thing.
Oh no, Uncle Bill, you're doomed. You're doomed. You're driving on the wrong side of the road.
My camera's reversed.
Okay, yep, I'll pay that one.
It's an optical illusion.
So this damn drone's been so bad that when I built it with the other Speedy Bee board, I was putting it together, and after I got it into the frame and mounted, the freaking receiver wouldn't do anything. So I got to looking, and one of the wires had come off. So I took it all back apart and went to solder it. I was trying to solder, and it's like, God damn, the solder's not sticking to that pad. And then I got to looking at it going, oh, wait a second. I looked at the end of the wire. The pad had come off on the wire. So the board was literally toasted because the pad came off. And there were no extra U-arch to solder the receiver to. I was just like, fuck me. This drone the other two went together okay. This one, which was the second one of this frame that I built, this one has been an absolute goddamn nightmare. Utterly nightmare. And I even got so lazy because I didn't want to freaking, well, anyways. If you can see, yeah, if you look by the one prop, I got the gaffer tape on there, but I didn't even cut the motor wires. I just bundled them up and taped them to the arms in case I need to do something because I change flight controllers or whatever. Until this thing proves to me that it can actually fly without falling out of the sky, I'm not gonna mess with. I'm gonna leave those motor wires the way they are in case I have to change something around. Once I know the damn thing's flying, okay, fine. I'll cut the wires and make it look pretty. Until then, screw it. Because the two different flight controllers I have, the length of the motor wire is different for each flight controller. And it's like, oh, fuck. So I have an entire set of motors wires cut wrong. Well, would be the wrong length for this drone, but would be the correct length for drone number 3, which uses the other flight controller. So, and I have another complete set of these motors anyway. So, I got spares. They're also the same motors that I'll use on my GEP RC domains, which is why I bought them, because it's hard as hell to try to get the actual GEP motors that fit on the domains. But these are virtually the same motors, kind of the same size, just slightly higher kV. They're 2800 kV instead of 2650 kV that are on the GEPs, which is why I use those motors for this build anyways, because it is a 3-inch and the GEP is a 3.5. So I was like, oh, it works on the 3.5. Hopefully it works on the 3. Oh, having hit and miss luck. With the other motors, it flew great. Didn't have to adjust anything. In fact, I probably need to adjust I do need to tune it because it's got sort of a noticeable lack of power on the low end throttle. So I need to put a tune on it and see if that helps solve that problem. Otherwise, I know where to go with Betaflight to sort of boost throttle on the low end. So great. Anyways, charging batteries. I'll be back because it's beeping at me going, hey, the battery's charged.
Yeah. So, Paul, what are you doing?
Mia's been bugging me going in and out and in and out.
Are you fooling with a white box? What was that?
Well, I've got some extra cameras and I got a place that I removed the camera and the wires, the connecting wire is hanging off the side of the house. And it's a camera, but I can't figure out how to get it to work. I've lost my mind somewhere.
You did
Because
that
you have
years
to
ago, didn't
you have to program the camera and then link it to Wise, and I can't figure it out.
Probably holding a button down.
You've lost your mind, huh? Well,
Yeah.
admitting it to yourself is the first step to, correcting the situation. Hey, you guys ever give a thought of what brand gasoline you put in your car?
Sometimes.
Whatever's
I've been,
cheapest.
huh? When you're
Whatever's the
cheap.
cheapest.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been, because the cheapest is always Sam's Club. Sometimes 30 cents cheaper or more. But I gave that a thought today. I said, well, my gas mileage has been going down a little bit lately, probably just because of the way I'm driving, more than likely. But still, let's do a little research. I did a little research. Oh, speaking of gas, look, it's stuck in front of me. Hey, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I wonder if it really does make a difference, different brands of gas. Because
Well,
there's
I
a
don't
huge
know,
price.
because usually there are standard amount of settings on the gas pumps. You know, you can go a little bit higher, but
Well, not the octane level. That's totally different. That's just all that means is it retards the ignition a little bit. This truck takes 87 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's the actual quality of the gasoline. And what I didn't know until today, because I never really looked into it, was there is something called top tier gasoline. And top tier gasoline means it's got a higher amount of additives in it. It's got a higher, like all gasoline sold in this country has to meet certain standards. So they're all
Yeah.
okay,
yeah,
to put
gas
in your car.
standards,
Right. In fact, we have some of the higher gas standards. But,
Except for E85, your car has to be built for that.
well, yeah, which this one does accept the 85, but no, I mean, not E. This will actually take, E85. Anyway, but you're right. But anyways, just something called top tier gas. I did a little research, and AAA apparently has done a lot of research on this, and there is a difference in gas. And maybe that had explained that 30-something cent price difference between some of the gas stations around here. And
Depends on
Like
summer
if-
blend, winter blend is a lot
We
of the
got
difference.
so they have a list of all the companies, the major companies that actually are considered top tier gas stations by the standards that they put into the gas, and there's a difference. And surprisingly enough, I didn't realize how big Marathon is, but Marathon is one of them, and they actually put a little SDP additive into their gasoline. They showed in a research done that the difference between what your valves look like when you use non-top tier and top tier, and they were much dirtier with the non-top tier. So there you go. You know, if you're always using the top tier, it might cost more, but you never put any additive in your gas. So
The other
that's what
thing,
I did that research today. Marathon's good, and Exxon's good. Sunoco, yeah, Sunoco's on the list. Mobil's on the list, and Mobil's always the highest around here, But
Where's Shell rank?
Shell is on there.
you
Shell
also
is on
have
there.
to look out for how old the gas station is, because the longer the tanks have been buried underground, probably the more
Well,
the water
more
and
of a
other
thing- that was more of a
contaminants that
thing-
might be in the freaking tank too.
Nah, that was more of a thing 35, 40 years ago. All tanks have been federally mandated to put fiberglass tanks in. And then as far as water and contaminants are concerned, I used to manage gas stations. You actually stick your gas tanks. All gas tanks have water in them. They all do. No matter how new or old they are, because of condensation and it goes to the bottom. You would stick the tank to make sure it stayed below a certain level. And if once it gets above a certain level, you'd run the pumps and it would pump the gas. It would pump the bottom few inches off the bottom of the tank. But that's why sometimes they say don't get gas at a station where you see the truck there delivering the gas, because when the fuel comes in, the older tanks, it would mix it all up, and then you would end up with bad gas. But the newer tanks, especially designed baffles to keep that from happening. So that's the thing. So that's much less of the thing. But apparently there's a difference in gasoline. So I'm going to try that for a couple of months. See if the gas mileage changes, see how it runs, whatever. See, if I don't see any difference, I'll just go back to buying cheap. I mean, but that's a big difference.
you drive a lot too, right?
No, not really. No, I really don't. I used to back in the day. I used to drive 80-something thousand miles a year or more, because I was working down by Philadelphia and living up in northeastern PA when I worked in the prison system. So I make that commute down the turnpike every day. But now, no. The only time I drive far is right now when I'm going to see my dad. If it wasn't for that, hell, I'd be driving 15 miles a day, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
To work and
Well,
back. I'm too lazy to do the shopping. My wife does that.
Well, I'll tell you,
I only do about 9 to 11 a year. So 11's close to average. 12 they consider as average. But if it wasn't for this trip twice a month, and it was The reason I even reached 11 this past year was because I was going to Dad's almost every weekend for a while there. And, you know, I had 220, 250 miles round trip, depending what we do when I get there. That adds up. Now it's twice a month I go there. So
Joe,
It'll be-
you drive a lot, don't you, Joe?
I don't drive a lot. I got a 8 mile radius that I drive unless I've got to go out to a game, and that's only during football season. But I was getting Sam's gas for the longest time, and I've had 2 incidents where I filled up and it's messed up a purge valve, where I've had to change a purge valve out because it's not releasing the pressure of the fumes. And it's only when I get Sam's gas that happens to it. And it's happened twice in the last 2 years. But I found out Costco, all they do is they've got Shell gas at the same price. So I've been getting the Costco lately. And it's
I've
actually
been doing-
cleaning up this last purge valve.
Yeah, I've been doing Sam's, and it's, you know, and it's great. It's like 287 right now versus the 325 I just paid. And I mean, that's all nice and all well and good. Plus, it's close to my house. It's close to the gas station
Right.
where I live. You know, the Sam's is, but yeah, that makes me a little concerned. I mean, I'm sure they're just, again, depends on, you know, independent gas stations. They just buy it from whatever company's offering the best deal right now. You don't know what you're getting. You know, it's
Right.
always something different. And certain name like 7-Eleven, same thing. They get it from anywhere. Racetrack gets it from anywhere. But Marathon is, you know, that's their own fuel and whatever. Same thing with Shell, Mobil, or Exxon, and they're all considered top tier. So it might be worth spending an extra 20-something cents a gallon if it's gonna keep you from having problems down the road. You know? So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, why would you
Yeah,
want to
but-
replace your purge valve to save money on gas?
But
Yeah,
do
my
you look
problem
at
right
it?
Yeah, my
I hear
problem
it-
right now is that if I fill up, when I do fill up, I start it and I've got to give it gas to get it to run for about a second, you know, just to make sure it doesn't kill, because I've got to change that purge valve out right now. And if I let it run, and it depends on where I get the gas at. If I get it last time I got it at Sam's, it did it again to me. Well, it went over the Costco, and when I started it didn't want to. It wanted to kill. Gave it a little gas. It wanted to kill. Then it was okay. But if I do that at Sam's, it takes 3 or 4 times. I've got to pump the gas before I can get the fumes out.
Wow.
So it's got to be the difference in the gas.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only positive thing about getting it from a place like that is how much the fuel's always fresh, you know, because they're the cheapest sit down and there's always lines at the pump, you know, and they're constantly changing it over, you know. That's the only positive. The only negative is you don't know what you're putting in your car this week. You know, because I know they're just shopping around looking for whatever distributor is giving them the best price, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Jim says that the E85 will be the worst gas mileage, but he says also different blends of fuels and viscosities can change from station to station. You just got to keep an eye on it.
Well, again, E85 is not really gasoline as far as I'm concerned. You know, you got to watch your carbohydrates, man. Your car's going to get fat. No, I mean you're burning corn, so it ends up being cheaper, but it's not cheaper. It ends up costing you more because of fuel. Even in the car, you know, you can only put it in E85 capable cars to begin with. What do you call flex fuel vehicles to begin with.
Yeah.
And you can put that in this, and it'll make it run nice. It'll run fine. But the gas mileage isn't so fantastic in the F-150 to begin with. You know, so you'd be back to the 8-10 mile an hour days.
Now, Bill,
you
do
know?
you put a gas additive into your tank periodically?
But what additive I have, but just to see, you know, I mean, it doesn't seem like I need any the way it runs, but I thought, you know, high mileage vehicle wouldn't be a bad idea to keep the injectors clean, you know. But they say sometimes your fuel mileage goes down, you know, because of that. Some injectors will clean unevenly, so your computer in your car is constantly making one side, you know, what it does constantly is making one side leaner and the other side richer, depending on how the engine's running. to make it balanced. And if you got one bad injector, it throws, one injector that blocks up, it throws the whole thing up. And so if you had some buildup and it doesn't just dissolve, it actually, you could end up getting flakes or chunks, and you can end up blocking an injector. So you got to be careful, especially with high mileage vehicles. If you haven't been doing it the whole time, sometimes it's not the best idea to start doing it. I don't know. Some people swear by it. If you watch that Scotty, what's his face? He's pushing some brand of a friend of his that he guarantees will clean up your system, in 1 or 2 applications. And he's actually seen it fix vehicles that they were ready to change the injectors out on. So I don't know. All I know is once you get the plenum off the top of this engine, it's not hard to get to my injectors. Got one rail sitting on top, and you can change it. I can do it myself, but that doesn't mean I want to.
Yeah, that's the point. You don't want to.
Yeah.
And that purge valve, I've got a Santa Fe. That purge valve is behind the manifold, so you got to take the manifold off.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same thing with this. When I put in all new, what do you call, shit. I'm getting old, man. It's really scary. I'm looking right at it in my mind. You attach them to the spark plugs. What do you call your coil packs?
The coil pack.
I went to change mine because I discovered they had some cheap aftermarket no-name brand on there. Actually, I found the brand. You could buy all 6 of them for like $90 or something. I mean, maybe not. Maybe it was 120. It was really cheap. So one of them had gone bad. Now I'm thinking, well, the truck's only at the time 7 years old. So how old could these? You know what I mean? The Motorcraft ones didn't go out in the 2nd year or something. They'll last a while. So how old are these aftermarket ones in here? The guy before me must have put them in just this past year, and already one went bad. So, as a matter of fact, I decided to change them out. And when I did, I discovered 2 of them had already gone bad because one of the coil packs didn't match the other 5. So he had already had to swap it out before he gets a total junk. Took them out, and I still went aftermarket, but I went with a high end. What's considered a high end, not high, well, at least an upscale, a good aftermarket. I don't know why. I probably could have gotten a Motorcraft at the same price, but what the hell brand was it? Whatever. Oh, Blue Streak. I put them in there, and it's been running great ever since. But I brought that up because the one side of the motor it's got what's called the plenum on top, the air intake. You gotta take that off to get it at 3 of the plugs. You can't just change your plugs like a normal car. The one side's wide open, no problem. Boom. The other side, you got to take the 6. You got to loosen the 16. Well, first of all, you got to disconnect everything that's going to it, and that alone takes you 20 minutes. And then you got 16 bolts that run through it. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. It's just time consuming, pain in the ass. You're dealing with plastic parts, a lot of it, and you just don't want to break shit. Especially as it gets older. But
When
anyway.
I make a decision to change that valve out, because it starts okay. It just takes a second for it to get the that fume out. But it starts right up. But when I decide to change that, when it gets a little bit warmer, I might decide to. I'll get my son over here at the same time, because he's got to dig around in the back. And what I'm going to do is I'll take the manifold off, and I'm going to change all my plugs, all my coil packs again. Just
right,
to do
as long as you're in there. Well, how old are your coil
everything's
packs?
underneath it.
How old are the coil packs?
Oh, they're not old, but I've got a cheaper brand. I think I'm gonna go get the regular factory ones. Stick them in there.
Yeah, and you won't have to worry about it for a long time.
I'll probably never worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's running good.
Yeah, it's worth it spending a few extra bucks if you're gonna not have to mess with it for a long time. Like getting iridium plugs, for example, because you're gonna get a lot. I mean, I don't believe their claims, 60, 70, 80,000 miles. Screw that. But you're gonna get at least factory mileage out of it or better. If you spend a little extra parts.
Yeah, I did that last time. I put all the coil packs, and I got, like I said, I got a high. I didn't get the cheapest ones. I got the middle ones.
Yeah.
Because I've used those before on my daughter's car, and they work pretty good. And
Okay.
I changed them all out just to make sure, because I didn't feel like taking the manifold off again. Just changed 3 of them.
Yeah,
Speaking of cheap, did you see Magtech's video this morning?
No.
No, didn't have a
So
chance to
the
watch it again.
so the 04 light, that base lightweight one, he broke one, and it was only on his bench. He's been doing some testing with checking cables and stuff, so he's been taking the cables on and off. And it didn't turn out to be the cable in his case, which is also a problem. The cables on the 04 air units are, yeah, kind of garbage at best. But the actual connector that's on the camera for the 04 light came off the PCB board. It was literally rocking. The board, the connector was rocking on top of the board. So apparently the 04s are just a hair not quite as durable, especially around cables and connectors. So seems like it's a good idea to put some electrical silicon on all that crap to sort of reinforce it for durability purposes. I haven't used mine yet. I'm trying to talk Ken, but Ken hasn't fucking answered my question. I asked him whether he wanted an 03 or that 04 light in the drone that I'm building for him. Or I should say, gonna build for him. Here's the motors.
So, Bill, you
1103, 8000 kV.
Bill, you actually go ahead and your fuel comes from multiple sources. Here, here in this state, there is one storage depot that's a massive storage depot where where the bulk fuel arrives at, and you see the different companies actually just picking it up from the bulk storage and taking it straight to the service station. So there can't be any difference between the fuels over here. So
Yeah, according to this article, there's 15 different different companies that actually process the fuel in this country. So, you know, this country processes the gasoline. You know, it gets the crude, so on and so forth. So, with 15 different sources, there can be a wide variance in quality of fuel. Actually. Oh, look, the Buc-ee's is only 131 miles away. Let's go.
Yeah, put that foot down. God, you're letting those cars pass you.
Hey, if it doesn't have 100 gas pumps, it's too small of a gas station. I wouldn't trust them.
Yeah,
they don't have 100 gas pumps.
Well, that's the one up by Daytona, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's like 100 plus gas pumps there. Yeah.
You know, everybody's so excited about Buc-ee's all the time. I tell you, that's just spending some nice money for a giant billboard 131 miles away from the state. You know, like, don't stop between now and then because there's a Buc-ee's 2 hours away.
Whatever works in advertising.
Must work, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, all those cars are passing you. What are you? But all those vehicles are passing you.
Well,
So,
Bill's a senior driver.
Well, I mean, the speed limit's 70 on this road, right? 70.
Yeah.
That's not kilometers. That's miles per hour, by the way, for you and the Ford. Yeah. I'm going for gas mileage. I'm doing 67 right now. I know if I go 65, I get my best gas mileage that I've gotten so far. But we'll do 67. We'll see. I want to see how it does today. Right now, it's showing it's coming in at 23 miles a gallon, which because I just filled up. So that's pretty good. you know, for a full-size truck. I'm happy with that. It's supposed to do a hair better, like 24. But as we go along, this number is going to rise. Excuse me. Yeah, I've gotten as high as 26 by really nursing it, you know. But I don't, but it's a lie anyway. It was really 24. You know, when you fill it back up and actually calculate it, this thing lies. It lies to you, you know. So
Yeah.
if it says 22.9, I'm probably doing about 21 or so, 21 and a half. But that's so far. You know, I had to accelerate to get on. There's some hills. There was a little in-town driving before I got on the highway. Not a lot, but a little. But I've only gotten 25 miles so far. So as I filled up, I wreck my own gas mileage. I mean, I'm so, you know, I so abuse the remote start that I put in this thing. You know, I do it even when you don't need to. It's not cold out. It's nice out. There's no reason to. Start it up, so it's good to warm the car up. Then it'll sit there for 10 minutes waiting for me to get in. And I waste a lot of fuel like that, you know. And I'm not afraid to do it. But there's some engines you don't want to idle too long, you know, because they do, unless they're at operating speeds, you may not be like certain Dodge trucks, you know, with the Hemi. Certain years their design was bad. And if they idle too long, their cams aren't getting enough oil, you know, and they actually reduce the life severely on those if you idle. Which would kind of suck if you lived in an area where there was a lot of stop and go traffic, you know, or sitting in bumper to bumper. But what are you gonna do? This truck doesn't seem to mind, but it is a waste of fuel, you know. It's coming in handy now because it's been chilly for us. It's Florida cold, you know, but still.
But
overnight.
What's
that?
You've also got to remember, it also comes in handy if you live in my type of neck of the woods. When you've got a really stinking hot day, you can start the car a couple of moments before you go out there, and it's nice and cool.
Well, yeah, that's use it more for that, obviously, down here than I do for warmth. You know, in fact, I noticed the other day, I said, wow, that's the first time I really needed it. I mean, I really noticed how nice and toasty it was when I got in the car. Because usually it's just because I want to cool in the car, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a white vehicle, you know. As long as it's not too hot out, it's not too uncomfortable in here. But then again, it also pulls wicks the moisture out. There's other reasons, you know. And it's good to warm the car up. It's good to run it a little bit. I'm a firm believer in that. Some people don't, but I do. Before you put any stress on the engine. You know, keep your oil clean and do that. You're fine. I don't know.
If you're actually working in sub-zero temperatures,
Voyager.
yeah, going ahead and actually pre-warming it's a must, because metals get cold metal actually wears a lot more than the warmed up metal.
Well, anyway, yeah. Then the oil, you want to get the oil circulating too before you.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to run it very long. I mean, again, there's all different kinds of schools of thought on that. 30 seconds, you know, is good enough. Some people think 3 minutes. Other people say, you know, mine usually ends up being a little longer than that because when I put my belt on, I'm just, you know, when I get ready, I take my shower, I put my socks and shoes and you know, pants first, obviously, and then socks and shoes. And once the belt goes on, I have my clip with my keys on it. So I just reach over from my bedroom and start the truck. Finish belting up, put the shirt on, grab whatever I'm taking with me, and then by the time I get out the door, it's at least 5 or 10 minutes later, you know. But if you do that every day, that's a lot of gas that you're burning, you know.
Yeah.
I don't drive a lot of miles, but I do drive every day. So I, you know, like I said, just now I decided to mess around because my gas mileage in fact, it was way worse than it's been before. It was about 15, and it was all city, but still, it should do better than that. That pisses me off. We'll see. I could throw a little additive in to give it a head start, but I don't know. some studies, it depends on what you put in there. Some of them do nothing. I mean, literally nothing. You know, and some are better than others. Gives me something to YouTube, you know.
Okay.
We're up to 23.2.
Yay! Oh, well,
Yay!
to give you some idea, I'm at 22.6, but I'm in centigrade.
You're in what?
I'm in centigrade.
Centigrade. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not that cold. Overnight, it's been getting chilly, but I mean, the lowest has been in the 40s overnight, so it's not killing anybody here. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's enough to put a jacket on. Obviously, 50s and below, I want a jacket. Maybe. But my wife, aren't you gonna wear a coat? I said, well, I'm walking from the garage to the car. I think I'll be all right. 23.3. I bet you get it up over 24, 25 by the time I get there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's averaging out all that that city running you did before you hit the nice straight run.
Well, there wasn't a lot. You guys saw it. When you saw me sitting there when I first came on, I was at the gas pump.
Hmm.
So it was only that little bit of couple of lights, and then even the that last stretch. I mean, that's called the extension, the crosstown expressway. I mean, it's not really an expressway, you know. The speed limit's 45, but still, there's only a couple of lights on that. So this will give me a pretty good idea of highway miles on this right now. But I like I said, I've noticed it's been going down a little bit lately, but the truck's running great. So we'll see. Could be the gas. Probably is. Don't forget, this thing's got 195,000 miles, by the way.
Oh, great. That's not far.
No, it doesn't burn any oil. I mean, literally, when I go from oil changes, I never have to add oil in this truck. You know, 4,500 miles later, I shouldn't say any. It might be down maybe a half quart, probably not. I thought it was burning oil for a minute, but it was I had to replace my oh shit. It's on your air intake, the one-way valve. The hell's it called? I didn't know. It was sucking oil in through that. I replaced that $20 part, and well, it sucks your butt away. So it's you know, it's getting the right gas mileage. It's not using oil. You know, so it's apparently taken care of. And if you take care of them, they'll last. Any engine. You know, well, most engines.
Yeah, it's only when you hammer the crap out of them that that they come their life expectancy becomes a little bit less.
Oh, plus it's pretty young to have that kind of mileage. So this thing was obviously a highway driver. You know.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, it's probably that sounds like one of those vehicles that that I've got for work. We have them for about 6 months, and we've clocked up so many miles in them that they decide to go and sell them. Because it's not uncommon for me to actually run up 10,000 k's in a week, which is around about 5,000 miles. They're roughly 5,000 miles. So
in a week. Yeah, wait.
In a week.
2,000 kilometers?
No, 10,000 kilometers.
Oh, 10,000. Oh.
Yeah. Well, put it this way,
Wow.
I've had the vehicle near enough to running full time, going from site to site to site to site, and yeah, we've run up 10,000 k's in a week. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, so when you're doing that type of thing, you wear your vehicles out very, very quickly. Well, let's put it this way: the government decides to change them over so that they don't have any problems come up like that's some big maintenance cost. They went to the base that it's cheaper to replace the vehicle every so often than what it is to actually pay out for a big maintenance item. They tried to aim it at the first set of tires as
Right.
the to get rid of time, because that's when you've got to look at replacing other bits and pieces. So, and then they get top price for them at the auction anyway. So, uh, they get a good price for them. So it becomes financially viable to actually do that. Big deal.
This actually has a tow package on it, which affects first the gas mileage a little bit because it's got the 373, 377. I forget the rear end's geared a little high, low, whatever. Hey, Mr.
Yeah.
Trooper, sitting right there. But I don't. It appears that it wasn't really used for towing much, if at all. Whoever purchased this, it was probably a company vehicle, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, there's nothing leaks on this. You know, I've had this checked out more than once, and they put it up there, and I know there's no drips because I have my driveway's brand new. It's white, and there's nothing comes out of this except this. You know what I mean? There's nothing's leaking. Everything's fine. All the fluids are fine. So I got lucky when I bought this. So far, so good. Wow, you're really not paying attention. See a little car that just passed me and right in front of me?
Yeah.
There's a state trooper with that little white, like a Tesla sitting there. And this guy was about to cut over to the right lane. Like, he didn't notice the trooper was sitting there with the lights. It was maybe 100 yards in front of him. And he noticed it last second to decide not to pass on the right. He's like, you are not looking downstream, are you, jackass? People do that all the time. Coming up on construction and noticing it at the last second and then cutting in and cutting somebody off on the way in.
Oh, they noticed. They noticed a long time ago. You know that as well as I do. They're just trying to cheat the system.
Honestly, I think some of them don't notice. I really do. You know, a lot of them take advantage of it, sure, to jump the line, you know, because they're douchebags. But I swear some of them don't even realize because you can see the brakes getting slammed on, you know. They're on their phone, half of them. You kidding me? I'd say 80% of the times when I see somebody doing something incredibly stupid, I'll drive by them and they still are holding their phone up in front of their steering wheel.
Yeah. That's why our government's actually put in these cameras that look down into the car and can actually see if you're actually using your phone.
Yeah. Says the guy streaming on YouTube while he's driving.
But
anyway.
you've got your phone in the cradle, haven't you, or some type of holding device? You're not holding it.
Yeah. No, I'm not touching it. No. This is no different. This is no different than you sitting in the car with me. Talking,
yeah.
One of the sheriffs here in Florida has a bus that they drive down the road. It's a school bus, and it's got little viewing windows, and they look down in the cars. And then they have like bike cops stationed in different areas down the highway, pull people over for being on their phones.
Yeah.
Tell you what's aggravating is sitting at a long light, a few cars back, and you know you got to make that light by going right away, and then having some car allow like 6 car lengths open up in front of them before they go, and you know it's because they're on their phone. They're sitting there texting, and then you miss the light, change because of them, which is God. I installed a traffic. I have a dash cam hanging here in the truck, you know, and this thing's probably caught me cursing 700 times. If I ever tried to show the video, it'd be like, warning, the person driving this vehicle is going to sound like a complete asshole.
No, but it's one of those things. Our state's brought it in that they've got point-to-point speed sensing sites to work out whether drivers are actually driving too fast during between these 2 points. They've actually added the mobile phone usage cameras to cut it back, and they've actually got it was on the news the other day that they've that in the first 6 months of actually having these cameras, they've actually caught so many motorists, not once but 2 to 3 times in a week, actually using their phone. And there's one guy that actually holds the record of being caught every time he's gone underneath one of these cameras. So at $600 a time, I think he might be a little bit out of pocket.
I'd imagine. Yeah, it does look like I'm driving slow, doesn't it? I bumped. I'm at 67 in a 70 on my cruise control. By the way, I'm up to 23.8 miles a gallon now.
Very good.
And look how they're passing me. Some of these guys are doing 75, 80, 90. I just, and how much time do you really think you're going to save? Because half of them are only going to the next exit or the exit after that. It's not worth a $150, $200 ticket to me. It's really not. You know, I used to push the limits and cruise, try to get there a little sooner. But if it's going to save me 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on how long you're going to drive, it's not worth it, man. 70 miles an hour is a decent speed limit for highways. Don't forget, you know, back when I got my license, I mean, it was 65 was national, and then it went to 55 for how many years? You know, 70 is cool. I'm good with that. Although sometimes they irritate me. If they tailgate me, then I'll do a little road raging and show them that my truck has the ability to go fast. You know, but usually I just ignore them. You know? And there are vehicles behind me that are paying attention to the speed limit, but they're not in the majority. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it when I actually go out on the road in the emergency service vehicle, and you sit and do the right smack on the speed limit, and you get these cars, you watch them coming up, and they're coming up, and they get to the point where they can just make out the lights on top of the vehicle, and then they drop back. I just don't know why that actually happens. What are they worried about?
That's why I've always said that if we get to a point where cars start actually self-driving and that becomes a major thing on the roads, I think accidents and stuff like that are going to be a rarity. Because if the cars are doing all the driving and they're not doing stupid ass movements in and out of traffic, speeding up, slowing down, then you're not going to have all that. Because most of the traffic jams and accidents are 99% of the time human error. Yeah. Well, it's been proven that that you can actually cause a traffic jam just by flopping on your brake when you don't need to. Then the car behind you actually slips on theirs. So the time it takes once that goes back down the line a bit, and then the time it takes for all those motorists to actually catch back to come back up again, does actually cause traffic jams. I've actually seen it where people have just lightly tapped on the brake, just enough to the red tail lights come on, and then the car behind actually applies a little bit more brake, and then it goes back down through the chain, and
you end up with everything behind that person going to a crawl, and they're taking a while to literally restore itself. So it might be just a case that the driver in front decided to reach down to pick up his water bottle to actually have a drink, and he tapped the brake for a moment.
Yeah,
So I think
I could see a universal system for self-driving cars, that they would all talk to each other and be able to drive the most efficient route down the road versus people doing it.
well, that's fine.
So you guys, now if you're watching my video, I popped it up to 70 just for now, just to see, just so you don't think it's because I was going below 70. Look how fast people still pass.
Yeah.
This is at 70 miles an hour. You know.
But it did.
And they're still flying by.
You look at the driverless car. They've still got a lot of work to actually do, and then they've got to find a way to get it to all integrate and talk to each other. Then the other problem that comes to mind is, what about the person who doesn't service their car as much, and kind of their optics might be out or whatever? How that's going to affect things down the track? Because I know that there's people out there that don't look after their cars. They go ahead. Oh, the engine lights up. God, that's nothing. It's been like that for months. Type thing. It doesn't take much for the optics to become dirty or whatever, and then the car can't maintain its positions, and all the automation starts failing. So once they work all those bits and pieces out, then I think yes, it'll be good. But the driverless cars at the moment, unless they go ahead and stick something in the roadway to actually guide the vehicle, I think that's going to probably be the only thing that they could actually do it. Is some type of electronic strip down the center of the lane that the car remains locked on, and that goes ahead and gives them that, and the strip being smart like. I'm just trying to think. I think it's Germany that's actually got the rail system that they put a wire down the center of the track, and it can actually tell you how it can warn the car that there's another train a certain distance in front, and literally take over the braking and all of that. So it would be a case that that those smart technologies being added to our roads would probably make it a lot better than actually having the car make all the decisions by itself. Because the car you can't guarantee the maintenance of it, but you could actually guarantee the maintenance on the road and stuff like that, because governments would have to take care of that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty cost prohibitive. Plus, if it's tied into some kind of network or anything, if there's an outage, nobody moves. In any case, there's always going to have to be driver override and driver participation, as far as I'm concerned. And there's another issue too, besides cost prohibitiveness, that to accent the roads to be more, automated car driver friendly. Aside from that, is when are we going to get to the point where self-driving cars are inexpensive enough that low-income people can afford to have them? I mean, you don't want the technology to get to the point that only middle and upper, middle and above income people can actually own a vehicle.
Yeah, well, but
screw the poor people; they can drive scooters.
yeah, but but when you look at it, at the end of the day, the other problem that you're going to actually have is you go and buy the latest automated vehicle, you hop on the highway, and then you end up with somebody who's got an old clapper that's sitting in front of you. Kind of, there's that kind of, the automation will only work if everyone moves across to that technology as quick as possible. Or there's certain lanes on the road that are only there for automated vehicles. And that would go well in this country. We've actually got a busway which it's a guided busway that the buses go on, and even though we've actually got thousands of signs up saying do not enter try to drive your vehicle down the busway, people still enter the busway and then get stuck. So it's one of those things we can't set the nice rules, because we've actually got to think of the idiots that are out there, or the people who don't have the latest in vehicles and stuff like that, or don't really care.
You know, they had smart vehicles that could keep you safe and not make stupid mistakes. Shit, for hundreds of years. Go back in time. Horse and buggy, baby. You know, horses are going to run off the road unless something crazy happens. You know.
Well, we got vehicles with what they call lane assist, which actually keeps you in your lane or warns you when you're leaving your lane, and that type of technology. But the problem with that is the sensors that are used for that. You go along a dirt road, and I don't know how much dirt you guys have actually got in the way of roads, but we've got a lot of dirt roads here in Australia. You go along a dirt road, but you'll get a build up of dirt on the car quite quickly, and subsequently there goes all your optics for that type of system. We've already seen that with one of the vehicles that we actually had. It drove me up the wall, having to stop and actually go clean the sensor, because it actually was constantly warning me that my vision assist wasn't working. And
I would get that warning all the time.
I see y'all later.
I would get that. Take it easy. I'd get that warning all the time when I had the Santa Fe in heavy rain. Just heavy rain, will knock them out.
And of course they've got the car that will break the technology in the cars that will actually brake for you if something comes out in front of you. While that will stop a lot of small collisions, it's not going to stop some of the bigger stuff that we actually get. Because what happened if you're on a 2-lane road, 1 lane going each way? So you like some bar highways, and you come around a bend, and suddenly there's a truck heading in your direction, but he's on the wrong side of the road. So your car decides that it's time to brake. Well, that's not what you really want to do. You want to get out of it. You want to either move into the lane he should be in, or get off to the side so that you can avoid the accident.
Yeah.
So this technology is nice, but I drove a nice one with all the toys on it in Adelaide, and the previous person who had that vehicle had actually gone and laminated out a little sheet as to how to quickly go ahead and turn these items off. Press this button next, kind of do this. And he used to do it because every time you turn the ignition off and turn it back on, you're back to everything being turned on again. So yeah, he made a little quick check sheet to quickly go through and actually do it, because it became so it was such an annoying piece of crap at times.
Yeah, no, I had all those do jiggers and that 19 Santa Fe, and I got used to having them. I love it. In fact, adaptive cruise control is the greatest thing, man. You know, I mean, the traffic stops, it'll stop, and then you can resume it. You know, and it just goes right back again. Stuff like that, lane keeping. They don't do something stupid. You drop something, and it keeps you right in the lane. But you know, once you get used to it, though, I tell you, I think it makes you less of a driver. You know, you're whether you think you're doing it or not. Over I owned that car for what 3 years, and then you'll actually catch yourself paying less attention to what's going on around you because the car makes up the difference. You know, it's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, and that's the big thing that gets me is what that kind you cause a major crash or whatever, or a wreck in your case, as you call them. Your defense in court. My car's lane assist was actually in control of keeping me in the lane, and it failed. That's not going to stand up.
Yeah, well, there was many times I needed to cross over because of something stupid, and the car's fighting you. It's fighting you. No, it's putting your right brake on so you can't cross over on the left side. You know? Or it's misreading a complicated line situation where there's lanes merging and so on and so on. Sometimes it would misread that. You did have to fight to get through because even though you're supposed to go straight, the white line shows the exit, and there's actually or it's old road, and they've still they've changed that exit ramp, and they haven't updated the lines yet. I've seen that problem before,
Yeah.
But overall, it did make driving much more pleasant and easy. But I don't know. But now I've had this. I'm back to old fashioned for a year, and I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
They made a big mistake on one of our expressways. They decided to use concrete as the top surface, which is nice. And then they planted the lines on in white. And so the minute it started raining, you could not see the line markings. So they had to go back and repaint a black border around every single line marking to actually so that you could actually see it. And I thought they were just crazy. It's over in Adelaide. They're a crazy mob over there. Until I actually went on it myself while I was over in Adelaide last year, and I'm there. It was pouring with rain, and the line markings became fairly well invisible. So yeah, it's
Bill,
something.
Bill, how much further you got to go?
Oh, a while. I'm still on 95.
Okay, well, I'm about ready to close it down.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't even know you were still here.
Yeah.
Palm Bay.
We're down to just you and I and Trevor, and we only have like 10 people kind of half-ass watching. So, and Joe left, and so anyway, thanks for being here, Bill. I hope you have a safe trip.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Thank you.